So hey you guys, what's up? Welcome back
Hi.
to our channel. I'm David.
I'm Leanna.
And we're the Bonds. Today we're going to be talking to you all about business and God.
This is something that we're really passionate about, and not a lot of people are talking about this, so we are going to talk about it.
We talked about this on our podcast, but we're not going to go into full detail like we are in this video. You guys are going to get the first-hand experience on this. Business is our passion, and the gospel is our passion, and we love the Lord and we love our businesses, so why not mesh them together? If you're going through life and you're working in a full-time job, you're part-time, or you're a student, or you own your own business, you're a manager, or you're flipping burgers at McDonald's, this can apply to you. So don't think, oh, I don't own my own business, this doesn't apply to you. No, we're not talking about business owners, we're talking about business practices with you being yourself and you having, good moral, godly characteristics that you can bring into the workplace. God and work can be meshed together. It doesn't need to be separate anymore.
In the video, we're going to talk about how you don't need to be in ministry in order to make an impact in this world. And not to say that ministry is not important, but it's just to realize that there's a lot of Christians out there, including me growing up. I felt like if I was not in ministry, then I wasn't doing the Lord's work. I feel like a lot of people do struggle with this, and you might be struggling with this in the mindset of yours that maybe you're supposed to be in ministry in order to create an impact. But really, in reality, God just wants us to put Him first in everything, and that includes into our work, into our businesses.
How many of you guys can say I spend the majority of my week at work? Or how many of you guys can say, I spend most of my time in my life working? That's us, right? That's me. We want the American dream, and we want to do good in our workplace, and we want to do good in business, and so you have to put a lot of time and effort into that. And so, honestly, if you're not in ministry, if you're a Christian and you go to church, going to church is a minute time out of your week that you're spending actually going to church, being surrounded with community. We spend the majority of our time at work.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality. We have to pay bills, we have to eat, we have to provide for our family, we have to invest in our future, we have to the list goes on and on. So why not bring what you believe in into your workplace? Why not be a light unto those others who may not ever get to experience the light other than at work? Why not share, or why not incorporate godly principles into your workplace or into your business? Because that's the majority of where we all spend our time.
I think the first thing that we want to do is to maybe share a Bible verse that really kind of explains the whole point of, not just incorporating God into our business. Our work and our businesses can have the Christian foundation and the Christian values from the Bible, that's biblical. And we have to remember, whenever we follow Him, we have to realize we have to follow His word, His command into everything, not just in church in my life, but in every aspect of our life, in which it also involves our businesses or at work.
So you have your Bibles, you can open them up. So we're going to be in Matthew chapter 6, verse 33. It says, "But seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well." Wow, all these things, that's a big statement. The word all, the word always, the word all the time. Anytime it has to do with that, that's a pretty powerful statement. The Lord put that in there because He wants to give you His best. He wants to give you your best. He wants to provide for you the very, very best that He can, and that He wants you to really truly be yourself, and He wants you to shine His light. With that, the first part of the verse says, but seek first His kingdom. It doesn't say where, it doesn't say how, it doesn't say when. It says, but seek first His kingdom, meaning you can seek first His kingdom anywhere you are, including your workplace, including your business. Why not, right?
The takeaway that I kind of studied that verse is, there's three things that I've noticed on there, and that's something that you can maybe take with you into applying it into your business, into your work, or into your whole life. The first one is to seek Him. How do you seek Him? You have a relationship, an intimate relationship with Father in heaven, who created you and who loves you. And so You have to get to know him, and in order to know him, you have to seek him and make that commitment to have that quiet time with him, pray, worship, anything. That's the first thing, foremost. And in terms of business, maybe seek him before you seek, what you're going to do for your day, pray over your to-do list or anything like that. Seek him first and ask him what he wants you to do for that day or for the week or for your, quarterly planning and stuff like that.
Ooh, yeah.
So that's the first one. What's the second one?
Number 2 is to seek his kingdom. This is an important one because, whenever Jesus came down here on this earth, he came down here as a man. And honestly, he brought down with him his kingdom here. He showed us how to pray. He showed us how to live among, I guess, quote, sinners, how to live with Christians, how to heal, how to talk to God, how to have a relationship with fellow believers, how to have a relationship with God. Seeking first his kingdom is like seeking first all of that, like all of what Jesus is about, all of what God is about. His kingdom comes first. And I think that that's like the most important thing. That's number 2. With that, I feel like your purpose and your mission is very important and is correlated with that, right? Because Jesus came down here, he was on a mission. You are on a mission right now, and whether you're sitting at work or whether you're chilling eating dinner, you're on a mission right now, and where you are in your mission, it really doesn't matter as long as you are on the right path, right? Because we're all on different journeys, we're all on different paths. And so seeking first his kingdom is seeking really his mission for your life, his purpose for your life, his plans, his destiny for your life.
Number 3 is to seek his righteousness. So like in the verse that we just read, it says to seek him, seek the kingdom of God and his righteousness. I was thinking about this, and I feel like with the righteousness part is living righteously for him, because even though we all have sinned and we're not righteous on our own, in Christ we are righteous because he is. And so it's really just living in a righteous way, and to do things in a righteous way, and that includes in your business, how you conduct your business, how you treat your clients or your co-workers. Do things in a righteous way that glorifies him and that pleases him. And so that's the whole point of the first 3 of, just starting out and inviting God into your business and putting him first in your business.
Dang, that's good. That's really good. I love all of this, and like we have a passion for this. We try our best. We do our best to incorporate gospel principles into our businesses. So we wanted to, share a little bit about that more, about applying it really. I feel like this first, couple of minutes we've talked about is really like about like the foundation of it all, like why, like why would I need to do this? And we've kind of talked about that some, but now let's kind of move into the applying, how we can actually apply it, like practical principles and maybe some stories of how we've applied it in our own lives, in our businesses, and what we've seen from that versus doing it on your own. Doing life, doing your business, working all on your own. I think the very first thing is, where you are within your business, or within your work. Like, are you the one being led by your work? Is work controlling you, or is your business controlling you? And I know there's a phrase out there, and I'm about to say something, and it may get people the wrong way, but are you the company man? Are you the company woman? Does your identity revolve around the company that you work for?
What does that mean?
That means that whenever you are around people, you are recognized because you reflect company values.
I mean, I feel like that's kind of like not a bad thing, but...
Well, it depends on what company you work for.
Oh.
It can be a bad thing.
Because you're so enamored with your work?
Yeah, exactly.
Like work has become your identity?
Work has become your identity.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And so it can be very, very, very bad. And I've heard this growing up, oh, like you want to be the company man, like, oh, you want to be the one like representing the business. And that's fine. That's all great and dandy. But when it involves your whole self, when it really engulfs you as a person, it's not good, because it truly, honestly, we can identify with something so much more greater than something that's created on this world. We can identify with the Lord and with the kingdom. And that's really what matters. And that's something that I have been made aware of in my short time working in the workforce.
So another way that you can apply gospel principles and putting God first into your business is a question. So a question I have for you is, are you a driven person? Are you someone that has a lot of drive into, being successful in your work and everything, your business? Well, the funny thing is being driven is not always a good thing. The question is, are you driven or are you being led? And that is something that really got to me when I learned this.
Yeah.
So if you are being driven, you might be driven to the ways of the world, the ways of, the enemy. And that's not a good thing, because if we're being driven by the world, then we're not being led by the Lord.
Dang.
And I hope that really oh, I'm a driven person, and then you're like, oh, what did you just say?
But,
I feel like that's something that maybe you experienced in your business life. Like, you were a driven person, too.
Yeah, I mean, I would consider myself driven, but I think that I've realized that driven is not necessarily good, because there's something out there that's like, something out there that's like driving you to do something, which sounds a little bit forceful. Yeah, and it's my motivation, but it's like, hey, whenever you're being led down a path, whenever you're being led to do something, like a lot of times you hear people say, oh, I feel led to go to this country and serve, or I feel led to do this in my life. Like, hey, that's being awesome. Oh, I'm driven to do this. Like, what? It doesn't really make sense.
Driven almost has like a
negative connotation to it.
Like, oh, you're being driven. Like, who's driving you?
Who's driving you? Is the devil or is Jesus?
That's true.
We need to ask ourselves that. And I feel like it's really crucial to know his word, and to know him, kind of like how Leanna was saying, hey, seek him, right? Number one, seek the kingdom and seek his righteousness. I feel like we need to know those things, so we can, whenever we go to our workplace, we can bring that with us. Yeah. Because if we don't know anything, we're clueless and stuff, we're going to go to work, we're clueless, and it's going to still be a consistent thing in your life. We're so passionate about this because, we know what it's like. Hey, I worked in the work world and the corporate world for 7 years, and I dealt with this stuff all the time. And my way of being a light, my way of shining a light was to be honest, a positive one in the group. Like, man, everybody, some people were so negative, and I was the one hey, we can do this, guys. We're called, we're led to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those types of words. I was trying to be the light with my attitude, with the things I say, with how I behave, with my reactions towards negative reactions. That's tough. Try to react to something that's negative coming at you. It is tough to remain composed and to remain godly whenever somebody's thrashing out at you.
Isn't it true that if it's easier to fall into a negative pattern versus a positive pattern? It's easier if someone does, one negative thing, then it takes away the 3 positive things that people can say about you.
So I was trying to be that light. That's how I did it. Let us know down in the comments how you can be a light in your workplace. I think that'd be a great question. I think it'd be a fun way to get to know you guys. How are you currently being a light into your business, into your workplace? Let us know.
If you're being driven, we're probably being driven by our desires, by our goals. And not to say that those things are bad, but if they're not aligned with the Lord, then it becomes a bad thing. I would like to maybe read Psalm 119, verse 9 through 11.
Okay.
How can a young person stay on the path of purity? By living according to your word. I seek you with all of my heart. Do not let me stray from your command. I have hidden your word in my heart, so that I might not sin against you.
Wow.
I love that. It kind of just explains, if you store up his word, like we said in the beginning, seek him, seek his kingdom, seek his righteousness. If you store up his word in your heart, then you won't be led astray. It's just like also in Proverbs 3, lean not on your own understanding, and seek him, and he'll make your path straight. And all of that can be applied into your business, into your work, into your whole life, putting Him first. So we realized that we had so much more to say. So I think we're gonna come out with a part 2 and end this video here as part 1.
So there's so much more to say on this topic, and we're getting fired up. We're throwing the heat. We're leveling up right now with you guys. But I think we've all learned a lot about what we've talked about so far. I've learned a lot. We have some awesome, good stuff coming out in the next video on, how we can put God first in our business.
And you guys remember,
don't live life alone.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.